The Royal Commission has taken a very strong rights perspective, and we might come to this later on, but they make assertions. So they made assertions that all group homes have institutional features. Empirically, they don't, and the institutional features can also exist in individualised services too. Making suppositions from theory isn't necessarily the best way to run services. You need to have the empirical evidence as well. Having people with disabilities or a person with a disability on a board is not necessarily going to ensure service is going to deliver quality services, because many of the people who are on boards who have disabilities are people with physical and sensory disabilities who have no experience of interacting or of what makes a quality service for somebody with an intellectual disability. But there's this assumption now, and it's become part of the checklist, do we have a person with a disability on the board? There's no evidence that makes any difference. We're trying to, I think at the moment, we need to start to build the evidence about how can we get the perspective of people with intellectual disabilities more in the different layers of an organisation. And at the very least, that might start to familiarise different layers of management with the issues for people with intellectual disabilities. Many managers, I don't think, have ever seen somebody with a severe and profound intellectual disability. And it's something that is in the first chapter of my book, this idea of as if. We pretend that all people with disabilities are similar, and they are similar because they're all discriminated against and they're all very disadvantaged. But on the next level down, all people with disabilities are very different depending on what type of disability they have and the severity of that disability. And we often pretend, and obviously they're all individuals and they've got other identities too, so it's a complex picture. But we often pretend that all people with intellectual disabilities are the same, and you just have to ask them and they'll tell you what they want. That's okay for people with milder intellectual disabilities, but for somebody with a profound intellectual disability, they're never going to be able to tell you what they want. They're never going to be able to sit on a board or a reference group. But if you spend a lot of time with them and get to know them, you'll be able to work out what sounds they like best, what colours they like best, what types of food they like. That's where you can work out what their preferences are. But they don't think conceptually, so it's being on boards and things is going to be meaningless for them, and it's not going to help very much the organisation. So we have to stop pretending that everybody's the same, and we have to provide the right support for people to participate in the governance of services.
I wanted to lead in
that was
there.
Too long.
No, thanks for the response on that one.